Hello, and welcome to Better Games, Better Gamers, a show where we talk about how games shape and are shaped by the community and the people around them. So today I have Skyler Scarlett with me, the inventor and founder of GameClass, which adapts popular games and media into fun and engaging lesson plans and classroom assignments that help students really feel engaged and excited about learning. So I believe we met at GamesBeat.
GamesBeat Next, San Francisco.
Okay. To me, education is such an interesting topic in games. So definitely wanted to bring you on, really kind of focus in on that topic. So really excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm excited too. Like I told you, nothing's off limits. Let's have some good combo.
Going back in the time machine a little bit, talk about kind of your background with games. What were kind of some of your favorite games growing up?
I think this is going to surprise you because I don't think most people expect this, but I am such a big gamer that I think I own like 3,000 digital video games. And I've been playing games since I was 4. Like I got a Sega Genesis, right? That's old school for most people now. And then I had every console. My mom and dad spoiled me. I mean, Nintendo 64, GameCube, PlayStation 2. I had them all. Growing up, I remember my memories are really like Nintendo 64, playing with my neighborhood, my friends, Smash Bros, all these games, GoldenEye together in the couch, like such fun memories. And then also when I was at home playing like by myself, Legend of Zelda, and just falling in love with that game. Super Mario 64. So loving the single player games, loving the multiplayer games. Then as I got older, getting more into, of course, the more mature multiplayer games, which I still play today. And then I don't have a lot of time because I have 2 young daughters under 4. But when I do have time, I still love single player experience. By myself, don't have to think about anything, right? Just get into that experience of the game. Get lost in it.
It sounds like, though, games was not your first foray into the working world. To hear a little bit.
I don't even know if I'm accepted as a games company. And I mean, I want to be because I love video games, but even at GamesBeat, I felt out of place, right? I'm new to gaming. I'm meeting some awesome people, but I don't build video games, right? So I don't think, and I think when you hear about what I do, you're kind of like, huh, what's he doing? Like it doesn't even register. And it's probably not that exciting for people that build games. I just think it's funny because I play so many video games, right? Like I said, I own so many video games. I don't think people would expect that from the founder. Like, oh, he's just, trying to utilize video games. No, really, I love video games. But to be in the space, I'm trying to go to the conferences. I'm trying to meet as many people as possible. I think so far, like the video game industry really hasn't caused me any issues, which is good. But they also really haven't been that welcoming or like, here, we love what you're doing. Like, you're a good thing. Let's support you. So it's been I've seen both of that.
That's really interesting. How I usually start is kind of looking at you as a founder, because I think if I'm remembering correctly, this isn't your first startup. So I kind of wanted to hear a little bit about that.
Lived a lifetime as an entrepreneur. I mean, I'm going off 15 plus years having my own businesses, my own startups, which it just blows my mind because, I don't have no entrepreneurs in my family, no business owners in my family. So this doesn't really even make sense. It's something that I just got into right after college. I got a 4-year degree, was going to go to graduate school, do a career for 30 years. And the next thing you know, I'm in the wellness industry and I'm on Shark Tank and I'm selling a business, working with the $1 billion health club. And it just went crazy. And I spent 10 plus years doing that and only left because of COVID. COVID basically I had a business in a health club and I couldn't even go into it for a year. I could not go into my business to get a pencil. So it was a hard time for me, but I went home and I had more time to play video games. So I was playing Call of Duty Warzone with my buddies. And this is peak gaming because this is during COVID where everyone was home and it was such a fun experience. And I kept going, like seeing my teammate do these insane strategic movements going, did he realize how brilliant that was? And I don't think he did. He was kind of going through the motions, but it was so smart. He would jump through like 4 buildings, do this triple jump, get up top, and then smoke all these players, right? It was so smart. I'm like, wow, video games, like they teach so much if you even realize what's happening. And then I realized that when we were winning, our communication was really strong. We were doing call outs, you name it. When we lost, we would forget to do the call outs. And I was like, my favorite class in college was a film class on psychology. And I'm like, if they had had a class on video games, just studying the communication, I would have learned so much. Everyone would. And that's when the idea of GameClass came. And you really shouldn't have startups from ideas. It's really bad. And I did that, but I think it's one. I'm a passion entrepreneur, which is the most dangerous kind of entrepreneur. Typically, if you want to make money, find a boring, stupid problem, solve it, and move on quickly. I always choose things that are new, exciting to me, innovative, and like the worst thing you can do if you want to make money.
So curious how starting GameClass was different and similar to some of the things you were building before, and kind of how you were thinking about those, and maybe also how it kind of informed, and if it informed what you're
Yeah, I
building
mean,
with
my major
GameClass.
was exercise physiology. I mean, really, kind of random. And I think I went in like wanting to do business, but I saw a counselor. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was younger. Right? And they're like, oh, you like sports, you played baseball, you're athletic, you should do this. I was kind of forced into my degree. And then afterwards, like, what do you do with an exercise physiology degree, right? Like, there's only so many things you can do. And I was like, oh, physical therapy would be great. You help people, 3 more years of school, $100,000. And that was kind of like, ooh, that's going to be the rest of my life. So I always had ideas. I just never did anything. Came across cryotherapy. It was a bunch of athletes freezing themselves, thought it was crazy. But then I'm like, wait a minute, it's crazy, but like the best athletes in the world are using it. So that's what got me into cryo. And I had a really good run. I mean, I crushed it. First business, like money was coming in, sold the business at like 24 years old. It was a wild ride. And then I wanted to do another startup. I always did. I just was so stuck and deep into the cryo and wellness side that I said, okay, for my second startup, what am I going to do? And like video games, education, it was like perfect match, right? Like one, I love to teach. So being on Shark Tank twice, I get offered to go to schools all the time, universities, and speak. And I do it for free. And I just teach young students about entrepreneurship. And I love it. I wish it paid well. I would probably do that, to be honest with you. But that's the thing. I think teaching is something that, even as a parent, I teach my daughters. It's one of the most important things I do as a parent. And I think, everything in life is better when you have a better education. Travel more, make more money, treat people better. So education has failed so many people and it's gotten worse over time. And sure, I think edtech could be a part of the problem. I'm an edtech company, but I can admit there's been too much edtech. And I hope that GameClass is the opposite. But I think, being able to combine two passions, like startups are so hard and brutal. If you're going to choose something that isn't a simple, boring fix, you better be passionate or there's just no chance. And that's why, years later, me and my team are still so passionate every day about what we're building.
It sounds like you feel like you're an outsider in the industry. So I'm curious kind of what helped validate the idea and the passion, yes, but also what kind of signals, I guess, would you have that you were actually onto something and that this
Oh,
was something
it's
that
not
you
nature.
could
I
push
think
through?
the problem is usually you find a problem, right? And I really was a solution in search of a problem, right? Which is bad. I think I said, oh, wow, video games are so educational and teach so much. That's not really a problem. That's identifying something kind of cool. But then I realized, like, I thought about myself first. And you should always be like your number one customer. I was like, when I was young, even now, I'm very smart, very smart. I didn't pay attention. I just didn't care about a chalkboard or whiteboard. It was so boring. Math, probability, who cares? I'm 6 years old. When you get older, you really respect education more because now you're like, it will make me more money or I'll be able to do something that I couldn't have done, right? But no young student's going to understand that yet. They don't have the experience. So how do you get them to buy in? Use things that they enjoy. And I look back at the stuff I did, like computer lab once a month because computers were new, right? Back in the 90s was fun. I loved it. Looking back, field trips I loved. Anytime a movie was brought into the class, I loved it. That's when I actually paid attention. I still remember the movies we watched 20 years ago. I mean, think about that. I don't remember anything else that was chalkboard or whiteboard, but I remember the movies that were brought into the classroom. So I knew for me, like I knew it would have worked better than anything. And then I always would be on Reddit and people would be like, oh, I learned a language playing this video game. It was everywhere. People were saying how much they learned through video games. And so I realized that, there's so many problems in education, but one of the biggest problems is, engagement motivation. How can you teach anything if your student's not paying attention? And then you go back 20, 30 years ago, it was so hard to keep us engaged, right? But now they have Reddit, Snapchat, TikTok. It's even worse. So has there ever been more of a time for a need of a product that gets students to actually care about learning? That was kind of my buy-in. And then when I started talking to teachers, they loved the idea. In fact, I was expecting a lot more pushback, which was not what happened. I never had one teacher, and I don't kid you, I've talked to 2,000 teachers over the years. quick, Zooms, this and that. Not one has ever said this doesn't make sense. Whether they played games or not, they like tech or not, they're like, this makes sense. Yeah, my students would pay more attention. It was so obvious. It was like, yeah, why does this not exist? That's a good sign when you're an entrepreneur and you have a startup. And I've also never had so many people want to help me because they're so in love with what we're building, trying to put the puzzle pieces together.
What are really the benefits of using the platform for teachers? What is really advantageous to them?
Always a challenge when you're trying to make things simple and easy to use, right? With teachers, they're very methodical, very organized. They have to follow certain standards. They have to get approval for a lot of things. It's not that easy just to use something. And that's been a learning process for my team and myself. But I think at the end of the day, what I want for them to realize is like, you don't need to go and build all this new material. Anything you're using, we can enhance. Anything. Math, science, language arts, it can be made more interesting for your students. And even if 6 more students pay attention, is that a win for you? And they almost always will say, yeah, it'd be a huge win. So does it take them a long time to do that? And before we were having them create, which the answer was, it did take a long time. That's a mistake. Now we have the technology where we can build a micro curriculum of 15 lessons in a minute here soon. 1 minute, 15 lessons. Anything that any student loves, their favorite TV show, movie, video game, or sports, in 1 minute. That means we can personalize and customize for any student. If you want to get them to do their homework, you can basically make homework interesting for all 30, 50 students in your class.
Learning in some ways it's challenging, I feel like, because there's a desire from teachers to implement new styles, but there's also kind of a pushback on curriculums for that same thing. And especially with things like AI, I know things are changing very rapidly. And so
very divided. And plus, think of this, right? Like, it's never been easier to build a company. People are vibe coding edtech products every day. So teachers are like, wow, I've had 50 people say, come use my new edtech tool. There is so much edtech fatigue and AI fatigue. So I think that's a real challenge for anyone that wants to enter that tech space. Plus, what most entrepreneurs don't realize, and I was warned that edtech was, one of the hardest spaces to enter. They were right. Is that even if you build a product people want to use, a lot of schools are going to block it. There's web filtering companies. There's, approvals. It's very difficult market to enter.
How do you continue to grow that trust with teachers?
It's a long process. I mean, me and my team knew it would be. We're a new thing. We knew that there was a lot of excitement, but it was going to take a really long time. I think I've, gotten almost all the big web filtering companies to unblock us. That's a huge win. That takes time. They're like, you are educational. You're not a video game. Like, we're going to unblock you. I think 2, we've done really well internationally, getting into a lot of, different countries, different teachers, students loving the product. We always knew students would love it. That was never the problem. The problem is, even though we built something for students, they are the last ones that get to decide to use it. So just over time, showing that, hey, we're still here. You know what I mean? A lot of edtech companies are here for a month and then they're gone. Yeah. And then, meeting as many people as possible. And then just figuring out different pathways. One, a lot of big companies have come to us. They understand our value prop. They're like, we have a curriculum, we have a course, we have a thing. It's boring. We spent tons of money on it, but yours is exciting. So like, can we have you make our content more exciting? That's more enterprise, right? That's a path that's opened up for us. Within a week, the marketplace. Now, any teacher can make their own GameClass content and sell it for a couple bucks. If your students love it, maybe 5,000 other teachers will say the same thing, right? And maybe you make $500,000 a month. I love that. I've really enjoyed all the teachers I've talked to. They're great people. They all want to make more money. They all deserve more money. So to be able to give them a marketplace like Teachers Pay Teachers, right? But with content that I think is even better, more exciting, and then anyone has the chance to come on and build a 15, 10 lesson curriculum or teaching pack and sell it and make money is phenomenal.
I think one of the other things that I saw you posting about a little bit lately, you were also talking more about more complex subjects like financial literacy, how you think the platform is.
I think it's probably like the best suited for financial literacy, especially elementary school. I've noticed, because I've been approached by a lot of big financial literacy companies, none of them touch elementary school. Does that make any sense? Imagine not teaching math till middle school or high school. Or not teaching science, right? You're like, I think they don't know how to do it. They're like, how would you get a second grader to care about investing? And the answer is, well, if you try to relate it to adult stuff, they're not going to care. But if you invest at the Animal Crossing, or their favorite TV show or Bluey or Hello, Kitties, they might actually understand it and start learning. And so I think we are like the perfect edtech product for financial literacy for elementary school. It doesn't mean we can't do middle school and high school. We can. It's just, why would you wait?
How do you think it affects and relates to digital literacy?
Well, I mean, look at all the tech around everyone, right? That's the thing. Like, I get that tech fatigue, and I understand like limiting tech in schools. I get it, especially for my daughters. But at the same time, like, tech's not going anywhere. It's only going to get worse with AI. So if you're not using any tech, you're doing students a disservice. It's all about balance, in my opinion. You got to balance it. So I think, again, they're going to be using AI and all these things, like understanding how to use them and what information to give them, and to not accept an answer the first time. That's what scares me. Like, when I use AI, I will change things like 15 times. Like 15, I'm serious. Even if for a LinkedIn post, I'm like, give me one, and I do like 15 versions. I just know most students are like, oh, AI knows everything. I take that first version and use it, which just terrifies me. I think one thing I'm so proud of is the way that my company is using AI. Like, there is so much fake content out there. It's like, it's ridiculous. I think people are getting sick of it already. Every video on GameClass is real. There's not one fake video on our platform. We use AI to take the real videos and put education in them. We don't use any fake content.
Looking at what the future roadmap for it looks like.
That's something coming within, I hope, 30 days. And maybe I'm overhyping it, but I think it's going to change the game. Like earlier, I told you a micro curriculum in a minute. We are going to be able to take any sport, any video game, and create a lesson in like 10 seconds, a quiz in 3 seconds. And it's not going to be like, oh, this is random. No, it's going to relate to exactly what happened in the clip to like 95% accuracy.
Well,
what that means, right, is it means like people all over LinkedIn, I see every teacher, every tech expert's like, oh, for education to really work, we have to relate to the student. We have to personalize for each student. Like, everyone is saying that. I'm like, well, hello, here we have a product that can relate to every student fast. Meaning, if a student likes this show, okay. If this student likes a video game, our tools now allow for that to happen every day, every week.
I think the integration of your enterprise solution of how like gaming brands and media brands might be working with it.
This frustrates me because, one, I'm like, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am, or I'm like, maybe these people are just so far behind. I'm like, I can't even imagine, like, I love the San Francisco Giants, right? Imagine them having their own game class. It's just San Francisco Giants content. Every week they could upload clips from the game the previous night, and their fans, they're young fans who are the more valuable than anyone to any business, can interact and make lessons and bring them into the classroom. If you asked any brand, would you want me to bring you into schools? I can't imagine they say no. And do it in a responsible way that people, parents, schools actually respect. Like, it's like 1 in a billion, in my opinion. Like, you have these scammy ways. No one wants to be associated in a bad way with students, right? And again, a YouTube marketing ad is like 15 seconds. What if you're 30 minutes, they're talking about your brand in schools? Learning. Like, how could you not want to be a part of that? And I could do that for any sports team. I could do that for any video game company. Can you imagine Sega? It's, Sonic, Crazy Taxi, like all these things about financial literacy.
I think the one that caught my imagination, I think you mentioned Netflix.
Yeah, and here's what is going to blow your mind more. GameClass can be done while they're watching it, not just recorded. We could do GameClass with the remote when we could have education mode in Netflix. You go to Netflix, turn on education mode, right? And all of a sudden, like, we have a nice balance of the entertainment is there, so they're still like enjoying it, but then there's an overlay that's popping up on their phone or on the screen that is teaching them.
If we got there, it's like, if everyone bought into this,
Man,
what could learning look like?
Can you imagine like learning in the things that you love? Like being like, I'm going to go do my hobby, but also learn. So you don't have to choose between one or the other. Like, imagine being like, I'm going to go, I got the new Resident Evil game. It's awesome. But I'm going to choose education mode. It's only going to interrupt me every 10 minutes, but it's going to stick. And I can learn something that I've been trying to learn while also enjoying the game. So it's not going to ruin the entertainment experience, but it's going to be memorable enough for like, yeah, I learned too. So I imagine a future where like you're watching the Giants or your sports game with your kids, and you're a family, right? And you're enjoying the baseball game, and then you're learning about projectile motion. Your kid is during the broadcast. That gets me so excited. And then I think you know this. I told you I come from a legal family. My mom's a lawyer. So like I grew up around legal. Our patent was allowed. It officially posted next Tuesday. It's going to be official. We have a patent on a market that I think is going to be such a game changer. It's really the idea of taking anything entertainment or media and being able to transform that into education. There's so many partnerships there. I think the
Yeah.
one thing that might be hurting us is fair use. When you're dealing with bigger companies, they don't like gray areas. Fair use is gray. You don't claim fair use until you have to claim fair use. If we were to maybe get licenses, GameClass could look a lot different. Here's your brand in front of so many people in a positive right. You get the PR, you get the marketing reach. Now with the patent actually issuing, maybe there's some brands that are okay with this. And it's almost like Roblox, right? Where they partner with these companies. Now they focus on just math, but they're using the license for Sega. I mean, Nintendo is my dream, right? Honestly, this would require doing something with Nintendo, which is, I know, a pipe dream. But can you imagine like the education mode in Nintendo Switch 2 for Mario Kart? I don't see how that could possibly fail.
So I want to shift gears a little bit. You mentioned kind of you had some interest in psychology. We talked about marketing, we talked about legal, we talked about kind of teacher. What kind of research has interested you and kind of excited you? I think both in education and psychology around kind of what you're doing.
Great question. Now, keep in mind, because I was exercise physiology, I looked at so many studies. That was my job, right? Like that was my role, like to review studies. I've seen a lot of studies and reports about video games being very beneficial. I know you've seen the same. When I was at my cryo company, like I became really good at sales, just learning human psychology. And once I figured it out, it was almost like I felt unfair because I'm like, I know exactly how this person's going to react and how I can do this or that. Now, when it comes to human nature of my daughter, if I tell her to do something, she rebels. If she's forced, if you have to go to school and you have to learn, you rebel. You don't want to do it, right? But if they can choose what they want to learn in, that's different. If I ask my daughter to, make decisions, it's completely different. So when I look at psychology and like what psychology has taught us over the years, like GameClass makes a lot of sense.
For GameClass and really even kind of your first startup, who were some of your mentors and inspirations in what you were building?
I love
Being a
entrepreneurs,
founder.
but I don't like, this is going to sound bad, but like, I don't really like to always have that. I want to explain so it doesn't come off weird, but I think if you put someone up on like a platter too high, right? Like we're humans. There's good and bad. No one's perfect, right? And I've reached out to a lot of people. I always appreciated people that didn't ghost me because most are ghosted, right? I wouldn't say I've ever had a mentor. I've had a lot of friends. I've had a lot of people that want to help me. But no one's going to build your business for you, and everyone's busy. And a lot of people have done stuff, to be helpful and this and that. And I really appreciate it. But again, it's funny. I think about even as a kid wearing like sports jerseys, right? As someone else's name on your back, right?
Yeah.
I'm always a proponent of like, I want people to realize that they're all very special themselves, that they shouldn't put someone up so high, like you're special as well. Like, you know what I mean? Don't give so much worth to someone else. Like, I hope what I'm saying is making sense to you.
It's making sense to me because I probably have somewhat the same perspective and same experience. Okay, you're putting together this new thing. It's in games, but it's not in games. I'm kind of curious just kind of how you put together your team, while you think about that
My
as
team,
this thing grows, what it
we
looks
use the
like.
games person. Maybe it just depends, right? I mean, I'm the games person on the team because I know so much about video games. I think, again, we don't build video games. And again, like, would I like to work more with video game companies? Sure, I'd love to. I don't know if that will ever happen. I think a lot of them were so polite and nice and supportive, but they would come to me and be like, look, don't tell anyone this. I love what you're doing. But like the higher ups will never support this. And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, they have to be able to see the money in it. Like that's what matters. Like for us, we are passionate. Like we care. Like what you're doing is awesome. Like thank you. Like this is so cool. Seeing my art or my thing being used to help kids learn is like amazing. Thank you. Keep going. And I had someone really well known, and he's like, I've never seen a game company do anything for education because there wasn't any money behind it. Now Minecraft, okay, hold me up, but Minecraft was not built for education. It was an entertainment game, but really backs up what GameClass is trying to do. GameClass's whole idea is don't spend time to build an educational game. Make the greatest entertainment game you can, and then we will take care of the education part. So Minecraft, I think, is a great example of that. Sure, they did build education around it, but they started with entertainment. Fortnite doesn't need to go build an educational game. GameClass can go make Fortnite educational and make it fun, right? And put the education in it. So I wanted us to be viewed as like, we are the Oregon Trail of Minecraft for any video game in existence. Come work with us. And I think the money part is hard because they've never been in ed tech, right? So maybe I'm really close, maybe I'm far away, maybe I'm not talking to the right person. I'll say what's funny is I almost was like, I don't want to say hurt. It's like your best friend being like, hey, I don't know if you're really my friend. Meaning I felt like I love video games so much and I felt like I was doing this awesome thing, right? I'm not sure a lot of them care, but it caused me to do something interesting. I gave so much to video games. Maybe, this works for TV shows, movies, sports. I made that pivot and people loved it. And I think these other brands have been much more receptive. I think if I had gone a better reception or more help from higher ups, I don't think I would have made that pivot.
This leads into a question that I'm really curious your take around the term games-based learning versus gamification.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
the way I view it is like gamification is trying to make something feel like leaderboard, like noises, right? In gamification, I get the psychology behind it. I like game-based learning more. I don't even know if people would really call us game-based learning. We're kind of our own category. Like game-based learning is like you're actually playing the video game. Now, keep in mind, because you know me, I want to get there. What I mean is I want GameClass to be in the consoles, on the PC. I want to do it where you're playing the game and learning with a controller or keyboard. I know we can do it. Our patent covers it. We have the technology to do it. It's just, do I want to make an investment for these companies that just, again, haven't really shown any like, we want to support you. If I had just one of them, I would go and do it. Because if they supported it, I feel like it would be a success. It would be everywhere.
There's money in gamification, but I think games-based learning was this thing founded in a lot of educational theory, doing how are you going deeper. You mentioned Minecraft. Another one that this talked about was things like Civilization, or even something like Legend of Zelda. Is like Legend of Zelda teaches you things even just inherent in the game itself.
Completely. Gamification is what more people do because it brings money. Game-based learning is where the science actually is, that it's effective. There's not as much science of like gamification is going to help you learn. It's more like it's going to get you to keep using something. And I think, for GameClass, like I kind of need to do both, right? I care more about them retaining and learning, and that's just who I am. And maybe that will stunt my growth a little bit because I care too much, but I hope people respect that I do care as much as I do. I'd rather have a product that works than one that makes a bunch of money because it's flashy.
At the end of the day, too, it's thinking about what is kind of the lasting impact of media. And it's like going back to kind of what I was talking about, digital literacy, too. The experience itself is being improved by, okay, it has better outcomes. You have people that are more engaged with it because...
Imagine the problems with it, right? Even like the education mode I want to do is optional. You're not forced into it. How could you get mad about a setting that you don't have to have on? And then as a parent, I think if anyone would love it, it's probably parents. I think we feel really guilty as parents when our kids want too much screen time. Me and my wife, we have to kind of like fight our daughter for the iPad and stuff. But if I knew that I could put on education mode and she'd be learning, that'd make me feel so much better. Because I don't think all screen time is created equally. I really don't. I don't think too much screen time is good regardless. I think you got to cap it at a certain point. But I know my daughter, people always think she's so brilliant. Like, what did you do? And I'm like, whoa, she was watching Miss Rachel at like 1 to 2 years old. And she learned a lot. She was doing the sign language stuff. And like, it was really productive screen time.
It's like the challenge a lot of times with games-based learning, because it's like, I know there's a lot of people that are building serious games. They're building a lot of these, or they're like trying to do something like, I know Assassin's Creed, for instance, did like you did an educational platform. Right? It's really cool, but I don't want to know how much that costed and how much they like.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into it, and there's your problem, right? I think they invested so much money when I probably could have done that for GameClass for nothing, right? On top, but you get it. Every day there's a new educational video game. Every day it's flooded, right? And I respect them, and I'd have my daughter play them, and I would, but I don't think they work that well. And I just want to be honest. I want to be realist, and this is just my opinion. The market is flooded. The problem is like a kid or a student looks at it and goes, that's not Fortnite. That's not Mario Kart. There's just not the same affinity or affection towards the characters. And they might play, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they choose it over the chalkboard. But they play it one time and they move on. I've seen so many of these financial literacy companies, they'll do this, they'll build a game, they're all excited. And I'm like, I go and play and I'm like, this is cool, but it's not really a video game that your high schooler is gonna really like. And they might be playing because the teacher is asking them to play it or because it gets them away from the chalkboard. But are they really invested in it? Are they really going to learn as much as if we took a video game that they loved and taught financial literacy through that? I don't think so. Curious on your thoughts.
I remember it's like back in the like late 90s, early 2000s, I think when both of us are growing up, is like there was games like Oregon Trail, things like that, that era of kind of the PC, that pair of PC games. There were good learning games out there, but there are also just less games out there too. So it's like sometimes it's
And
like you
also,
didn't
let's
have,
be honest, right? I loved Oregon
yeah,
Trail, but also Oregon Trail was because we were in school and it was the only game we could play. If you'd had Oregon
exactly.
Trail versus Fortnite or Mario Kart, I would never have chosen Oregon Trail over Mario Kart. I wouldn't have. I'm not saying that some students wouldn't have. Yeah.
Mario
And I
or
don't think
not
if
kind
we
of,
had the
but yeah,
option, like you said, if we could play GoldenEye or we could play Mario Kart or Oregon Trail, I think we all would have been on, GoldenEye or Mario Kart. So yeah. And I love your point about Assassin's Creed. I love that they did it. I think it's awesome. I think they probably put tons of money into it. I don't know what the results were. But again, I think they could have done that for like nothing the way I'm doing it.
what does being a better gamer look like to you, and do you kind of see that growing and changing?
When it looks at gaming, right, I see gaming as so much more than gaming. Like when we grew up, it was just gaming. Now it's like the best movies are video games, right? It used to be like the best movies would become video games. Now it's changing. And then I just look at like the way that video games are more respected. There's now 50% of gamers are female. I love that, right? When we were growing up, it probably was like 10%. It's not like such a nerdy looking thing anymore. There's so much money you can earn in gaming now. If you're a professional player, esports, you're an influencer. It's in my opinion the highest form of entertainment. I think it's going through a really interesting phase.
How do you think the industry will look like this time next year?
I mean, I think a lot of people are looking for Grand Theft Auto to bring a lot of gamers back. I think it's really hard to live up to the hype when you've waited 15 years. And I also think that a lot of the stuff that worked, like our world is crazy right now. So a lot of that satire and things are going to hit a little bit differently. And I think there's been so much violence that even a violent game is not the best timing. So, will they do phenomenal numbers? Yeah, of course they will. The ramifications of that game are going to be humongous. Now, as far as GameClass, I can't really use the game. I learned the hard way because look, I always care about the students, and like for some people, Grand Theft Auto might be a great way to get them to pay attention, not the violent parts, but other parts. But I know I did one LinkedIn post on like a marketing of a business in Grand Theft Auto, and it got tore apart. And then I realized, okay, I can see why they were unhappy with it. So I don't think I'm going to put Grand Theft Auto templates on the platform.
Looking at specifically Grand Theft Auto, but I think also looking at like you said, Roblox is very much more targeted at getting people into younger audiences. And so I think the other big trend that, of course, seeing like UGC platforms and kind of the creator economy, and this sense that I guess how people kind of, and it sounds like have always kind of had a background in multiplayer games. And so I think a big thing that, of course, looking around here is how communities are shaped and culture is shaped around games. And so kind of curious how you're playing into that and kind of how you see that.
UGC has become huge, right? Way bigger than I ever imagined. I think, like looking at Roblox, like being able to create your own game, share it. It's funny. It's not something that I can really play myself, just not into it, but I respect it knowing like when I was this age, would I have been into it? And I'm like, well, if my friends were on there, I'm sure I would have been there.
What are you kind of most excited about for where it's like edtech is progressing and the future of kind of the relationship, I think really between games and media?
I think they have to merge more for education because I think it'll be so successful for learning. And what happens with GameClass is they get a glimpse of something, they want more. Oh wow, that game looks fun. I'm gonna go play it now. And they go home and they tell their parent I want to buy the video game. Or I want to get a Netflix subscription because I learned through physics with Stranger Things, right? For like sports teams, right? Like you always got to look at different ways you can connect with your fan base to be able to do something for families and like teach them through just your IP. You're not sharing with anybody. It's just your team, just your stuff. And then what you can do is when they perform well and they get good grades, they can use it on tickets. Now the money is coming back into the ecosystem, right? If you're earning points or gamification thing and you're scoring like A+ and you're getting good grades and like after a couple months you earned enough points to get 2 tickets to the Giants game, That's awesome. Now you're giving back. You're also making money. Maybe they get like $50 off a jersey, right?
Going back even to like the relationship between gamification and games-based learning. If I'm a parent in 5-10 years, how will games in education and media in education look like? Why should I be excited as a parent?
Well, no kid's ever going to come to you saying, I want you to buy this educational video game. Let's be honest. 50 years it hasn't happened. I'm going to bet on human psychology and say for another 50 it won't. But I will think kids are so smart if you give them credit, right? If they come to your parents and say, wow, like, I know you don't want to buy me any more video games, but I can learn, a new language, or I can learn, algebra 2 through this game. They might go, I feel guilty, but you're going to learn. And they might go purchase the game. And then when they're fighting with their kid, they're like, well, you only get to play 20 more minutes if you turn on education mode. That's kind of what I see. That's what I kind of want to happen is, and again, I think my role is to make sure that the balance of entertainment education stays safe. Too much entertainment, right? We lose the education. Too much education, we lose the student. So really, we have to have that perfectly straight bridge of entertainment and education. And that's where I hope that I'm around to help with. Because one, I love video games and entertainment and movies, so I want to keep the entertainment. I also love learning. So even for me, I'm like, how would I use this where I want to have both? Right?
Yeah. I think the other thing from games-based learning is and I think the difference between games-based learning and gamification is gambling is gamification. Is like there's so much gamification in games and social platforms. Language-based learning has now been very well gamified.
Yeah.
But you lose some of the, I think the term is the meaningful play. Is like, they're not, it's the difference. I think play is kind of another important piece of it.
One of the reasons I didn't want to raise money. Raise money, we're going to have gamification everywhere. It does make more money. Same reason why GameClass is more secure. We don't let you message strangers. Well, that hurts our platform for growth, but it's the right thing to do. You said, like, we understand why they're using it because it's addictive, but it's not good for, a child's brain. Well, yeah, I want to, of course I want to make money. I want GameClass to be successful, but I also want to be a good person. So I hope I don't sell my soul.
You looked a lot at kind of the user experience as well. Your deep focus on that. It's like game design. It's like when I hear gamification, it's like you're doing the challenges, you're doing the rewards. But games are so much more to me than gamification. As games are like you're thinking about the user experience. You're thinking about all these kind of different elements. You're doing problem solving, you're doing all these things inherent in the game themselves.
Great point. When you play a great game, you don't even realize how well they're doing it, right? Because it's working so well. It's when you get frustrated, you're like, why did they make this design choice? Like, what testers didn't tell them how frustrating this is? Always blows my mind. But yeah, like a great game has to have a really clean UX, user experience. You're not getting frustrated, right? Constantly.
A lot of these multiplayer games is how you build these like it's like communication was really big for you, and you learned a lot about communication through games themselves.
Ways that schools would never allow, like you do a sniper shot and you're like, what was the projectile? You could do like so much math and science with it. But I think as you get older and you're more in university, there's a lot to learn in those more mature games.
What are kind of some other things that you've been enjoying lately? What do you enjoy outside of games?
The beach. Honestly, I'm so fortunate. I live like 10 minutes from Carmel Beach. Beautiful beach, beautiful area. It's been so beautiful and sunny lately. And to take my daughter, and she likes to go in the ocean even though it's freezing. Like, it's been great because I'm unplugged. It's really hard for me. I mean, I own an AI patent. I'm a software person. I'm a tech guy, right? I'm on the computer all day, but go to the beach, I leave my phone in the car. Like, it's no technology. It's just me and my daughter. It's the sun, the sand, the ocean. And I've been loving that. I've been doing a lot of yard work, on my property, which has felt really great. And then I've gotten really into patents, just obsessive in a way. In fact, I'm trying to hopefully take the patent bar so I can be a patent because I like it so much. I can do it on the side, but I just find like inventions and patents fascinating. And I did so much work for GameClass myself that I feel like I learned just about everything about patents and stuff. I built a pretty cool portfolio for GameClass, so I'm excited to do more in that area.
Yeah. So you're kind of thinking of helping other people.
I had a friend. He came and he visited me. And he had this great idea for something, and he posted it on LinkedIn. I'm like, that's prior art, right? Like I learned these things because he publicly posted it. It's public disclosure. Public disclosure. He has 1 year to file a patent before he loses it forever. The idea. Things
Interesting.
people have no clue about that I just know so much about now. And like even like filing a patent really not that expensive. It's not. So people are like probably underestimated like how much it really costs. So I can help friends do it for a lot less money.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. We might need to talk.
there's a gold mine. And so like for AI, there's a gold rush, gold mine. My AI software patent, like if you have a method attached to AI, there's so many things out there people can get that will change the world that like you can't bypass. That if you're a tech company, you're like, oh wow, this person owns the patent for this, I'm gonna have to pay them or license it. There's so much out there still. In video games too, because I follow all the video game patents to see what all the companies are doing. I'm like, I'm watching you. I
Yeah.
see what you're doing here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
interesting stuff out there.
So where can people learn more about GameClass and you and what you're working on?
Really approachable. Anyone can come to want to talk to me. LinkedIn, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, as you know. And then, www.gameclass.net. It's a free platform. It doesn't cost any money. You can go on there. We have a free library. We're working on a premium library, which is more like teachers actually review the content. It's subscription only. So I can't say that all the free content will be great. Some is student stuff, but it's fun. And you'll see some stuff that you enjoy. Marketplace coming soon if you want to create and sell some stuff. And then, like I said, within a month, I'm really excited for the AI stuff we're doing. I think the fact that you can come on and prompt that you want an Aaron Judge home run lesson on velocity, and you'll get that in 15 seconds, and that the student will love it. And you'll be like, wow, this is really good stuff. It just gets me so excited. And I say that as someone that loves and hates AI. I love and hate it. But the stuff that we're about to do, I don't think anyone's ever done it. And you know a lot about, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone's ever at this scale been able to say, okay, we can take any media, and in 15 seconds, you'll have a quiz or a lesson that's accurate to what you watch, teaching you.
And so it's like, so in this day and age, so cool for teachers.
Thank you. And yeah, I think teachers will love it once it becomes that easy. So before, even though I thought it was easy, it was still like, I don't want to come home from school and spend 10 minutes building something. Now I can prompt it and bring it into the classroom in like 30 seconds. I'm in. Hopefully. Never that easy, but we're getting there.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you. This was
Really
great.
I knew
covered a lot of ground.
Yeah,
a lot of ground.
It was very, very fun conversation with you. So thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and follow us at bettergamesbettergamers.com and on social media. Hope to see you next time.